Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Everybody, it's Jeff. A great day as we have had here in Maine. Beautiful Scott, sunny, 61, 62 degrees out. People out on their motorcycles and jogging and having a great day. Well, I'll tell you, I guess a lot of people, we really need it. We had pretty harsh winter this year. Not in so much snowfall as in just plain old gloominess and cold and stuff. So hopefully we'll be getting more good weather here coming. So I got two videos from iHip girls. Okay, each one on a different subject, but this first one, and I'm going to play for you, they're going to talk about Pete Hegseth and how he had a presser, the recent presser that come out, he looked juiced up and everything. And I don't know, it just you got to watch the video, and then we'll talk about that on the other side. So let's go to the video.
The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is incompetent. He is an untreated alcoholic. Even his own mother sounded the alarm about his behavior. But in MAGA world, it's like, yeah, let's put him in charge of the greatest military force the earth has ever seen. Of course, he's probably all liquored up, sending out war plans to his wife, and like he's gossiping. And so here he is on Fox propaganda entertainment television trying to defend the indefensible with his actions regarding our national security and our troops that MAGA so claims to support. Play the clip.
To go along and, start doing Meet the Press and going to the Council on Foreign Relations and spending time with all the new cocktail sipping crowd. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because President Trump asked me to bring warfighting back to the Pentagon every single day. Right. That is our focus. And
what is that cocaine? Is that vodka shots? What is that? Because that can't be sober.
I can't help but think that when he says cocktail, it's projection, that he's had a cocktail before, because this guy is pathetic. And the big, he's like leakers and, we're going to launch investigations. You're the problem. The head of the snake is you. You suck. You're incompetent. You're a white supremacist that cannot run the military. Shut the fuck up and sit down if you care about men and women in uniform.
And here's my thing. What all of these Republicans in Congress and the Senate, that are like our troops and our national security. These are the people that freaked out over Benghazi when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. These are the people that freaked out that Lloyd Austin went to the hospital and didn't report it. And then he got on television and publicly apologized for having a personal medical procedure. This guy gets on television clearly drunk or on blow or on something, because that just can't be sober.
So jerky.
And just like this whole MAGA thing where these men, one of the most, human things, dare I say masculine things, I think a person can do is own their shit.
Agree.
I fucked up. I'm sorry. And this is what we're going to do about it. But in that world, apologizing to them feels emasculating.
Well, the doubling down in the Trump administration is absolutely stunning. And like you said, I look at these Republicans on the, Intelligence Committee, Foreign Services Committee, Armed Forces Committee, and I think you have completely and totally bankrupted yourself and your credibility. And if your constituents, which they probably will continue to reelect them, but this is an inflection point regarding our military, in my opinion. Are we who we say we are? Are we going to protect our troops? Are we going to put them with a leader that is competent? Because right now, I feel less safe in the United States with the military than I ever have in my whole life.
But doesn't it go deeper that when we know that the man they voted for said that people in the military are suckers and losers, that then there's a dissonance and an accepted dissonance that the media participates in and allows them to have this dissonance. On the one hand, supporting a man who said that John McCain was a loser because he got captured. He was a POW, he was tortured by Vietnamese. And he calls the people that fought for World War II suckers and losers. But on the same time, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah, we're wearing our Eagle t-shirts with grenades on them, talking about how we support the troops. And there is always this deference given in the media and in a percentage of the American public where they give deference to that crowd and they give deference to their moral duplicity. We're not going to do it here anymore. All right, next up, we have Russia continuing to infiltrate the United States of America. It is a layup. The MAGA administration has made it so easy for China and Russia to win without spending that much money. Put this up. The man in this picture is Tim Pool, a far-right influencer who was exposed last summer for accepting up to $400,000 a month from Russian state media to peddle misinformation. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's fact. I'll stop there and allow you to narrate for yourself what the potential implications of him having insider access to our national leaders could be. And here he is interviewing puppy killer and cosplayer Kristi Noem, who can't even secure her own bag. And he was in the White House media room, the press poll room yesterday, asking Caroline Leavitt questions. And that would be like Pumps and I being in there asking questions. Like, we're not journalists, we're podcasters. And real journalists are such an integral part of the United States of America. They do hard work. They do the research. They're typically not in front of microphones and they vet things. And this is Russia just slipping right in more and more because Donald Trump has said, oh, please come in, welcome, sit down, have anything you'd like, Putin, because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he was invited. I mean, there is no disputing the fact that he is a Russian propagandist and they invited him into the White House. So spare me, Donald Trump and Putin are, engaging in this negotiation. Putin knows he doesn't have to do anything for Trump because Trump is his puppet. And here we have Tim Pool is the perfect example. And I cannot believe that people are not outraged by this.
Okay. Next up, we have, this is crazy. Okay. Put this up. Okay. This woman, her name is Christina Wong. She is the Navy's new director of communications. During January 6th, the attempted coup, the insurrection, she posts on her social media a picture of her peeking into the Capitol before they all break in. And so, the thing about what MAGA is doing is Trump wants to dismantle absolutely every single part of the United States government. That's why you have Pete Hegseth in charge of the military, because Pete Hegseth is more loyal to Trump than he is to those troops. And it's just this, trickle down incompetence from Trump all the way down of these people that are short-sighted. They're not emotionally intelligent. They're intellectually dishonest. And I don't even think I can use the word intellectual ahead of their dishonesty. But these are people that everything is just a big swinging dick contest. It is just a swinging dick contest. Politics should be boring. You should have experts grinding out on data, doing nerd shit, keeping everybody safe, that make spreadsheets and do shit that's boring and uninteresting to keep us safe. But no, what do? We put January 6 criminals in charge of the Navy communications.
I would argue she was probably chosen because of that behavior, because she is so loyal to Trump.
And you guys, I just think it's so important in speaking about journalists. I think it's so important that everybody in this country advocate for journalism. It is something that is severely under attack. And that's why every single morning, Pumps and I get on Ground News. Ground News is just invaluable. It shows you what the right is reporting. It shows you what the center is reporting. It shows you what the left is reporting. It shows you where there's blind spots. It really helps you understand that crazy MAGA uncle or friend you have and how all of a sudden they're pro-Putin or they're pro-Russia. You get on Ground News and you can actually see what they are fed every day.
And one thing that I really like about Ground News is it tells you how factual the articles you are reading are. Is it low factuality? Is it high factuality? Because as we know, in the right-wing echo chamber, there's very few facts.
And you need to be a good citizen. Be a good citizen. Educate yourself well. And we have a deal for you. You can join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that Pumps and I use every day. They're subscriber funded. And our favorite part is they are female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work here at iHip News. That's ground, GROUND news.com/IHIP. All right. Now back to the fuckery. Even MAGA loyalists, I mean, people that embarrass themselves for Donald Trump, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, is in the fuck around, find out stage. Put up this headline. Okay. Jessica Tarlov, who does God's work over on Fox News, she says, voted the right way and yet can't depend on Trump no matter how much you try. And the headline is, Sanders says Arkansas is in dire need of federal assistance, but the Trump administration says no. And the next person up is Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, fierce planter of sticking his lips right on Trump's ass. He pleaded with President Donald Trump to reconsider his denial of disaster relief after tornadoes hit Arkansas. And what I have to say is this is why government's not run like a business. Right. This sounds like a big insurance corporation denying somebody life-saving care because it's not on their plan. This is why government cannot be run as a business. And whenever you hear a politician say that, it should be a red flag. Government is to provide safety and security for its citizens. Arkansas voted red, but that doesn't mean that they should, as a liberal, that doesn't mean that I think they are not entitled to federal funds. Of course they are. Of course they are. But Trump and Doge and all the we're running this like a business and, art of the deal bullshit. And so now even his own sycophantic supporters cannot get life-saving funds and rebuilding funds for their communities from this administration.
Well, and what's so disheartening about this is we know that he makes blue states beg for FEMA funds. But do you remember during the campaign with North Carolina and Florida, it was all over Fox News, all over the right wing. Biden's not helping these counties or these states because they're red states. That was not true. They were sending so much disinformation. People didn't know where to go get help. And now we're seeing Donald Trump did exactly what he was projecting on the Biden administration. And I just don't see the outrage and the publicity this should be getting from all media.
Yeah. And I think that, the more and more we all dive into this, the more we know that corporate media up the chain in the boards of directors, in the shareholder offices, you've got some red-pilled white men that only care about profit. And that trickles down the media echo chamber and out. And so that's why independent podcasters like us and the Midas Touch are getting more traction. But I just want to say one thing. This is super important to me. The MAGA has done for years, and even before it was called MAGA, an assault on all things Democratic. And one of the things that they did is attack blue cities. And I think instead of us spending a bunch of time defending blue cities, we need to start attacking red states. It's abysmal what happens in these states. It's abysmal what Republican supermajorities on a state level do for its citizens. And they continue to brainwash their citizenry to where they actively go out and keep voting for more and more pain. And we need to start a huge campaign attacking the horrific policies of these red states to where people in red states start to realize, oh, I get it. It's not trans people that are trying to ruin my life. It's all of these rich guys that don't want to send aid to tornado victims. Okay, I'm starting to get it. And I think that messaging has got to start happening, and we have to quit playing defense and we need to start playing offense. Okay, subscribe to our channel. We are on our way to 1 million. We're trying to make it there by June, and we can't do it without your help. And we'll see you all later.
Incompetent, drunk, drug user. His mother don't even like him that much. Okay, and you know, there's actually other videos of that presser where he had his kids there. Okay, and they were kind of acting like perplexed at things that their father was saying. You know, and you know, and it's like, you know, what the hell's going on here, you know, and of course with his odd behavior and the way that his kids are acting, it's like, okay, something's not right here. But yeah, that was the shit show that was going on. And all I could say is, look, this guy, people, I mean, what the hell more does MAGA need to see to understand that this guy is a mistake? You know? I mean, just like they said in the video, I mean, when Benghazi happened, Christ, they wouldn't leave Hillary alone about that. But with this, I mean, it's considered, you know, the biggest intelligence breach in U.S. history, that he was on a fucking chat room sitting here discussing battle plans with other people and a reporter. Okay? I mean, that's like, you know, people in their homes opening up all their doors and windows, and they start having an argument, okay, thinking nobody's gonna hear. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, and I feel like, you know, MAGA is giving Hegseth and Trump and all those folks in his administration way more fucking passes than they would have ever given any Democrat that would be doing the same thing, okay? And I think everybody believes that when I say it, because they've been really harsh on Democrats over the years, over the little trivial things for the most part. Okay, what is it? What are you looking at? So yeah, the fact that MAGA won't even blink at this, that what he did, and not complain about it, is like, you know, what the hell? You know, it's like, you guys, you people are always taking a stand on morality and law and order and all that other stuff. And yet when it's your turn to prove your words, okay, what are you doing? Nothing. You don't do a damn thing. So why do you keep trying to pretend that you're these things and you're not? Okay? Why do you keep pretending? You know? And I just think, you know, it's really ridiculous. Hey. It's just ridiculous that these people are, you know, so eager to just forgive and move on. But, you know, Democrats shouldn't let up on this, because, look, I mean, if Hegseth, in just 2.5 months in his job, is capable of doing that kind of damage, I mean, Christ, why risk keeping him there for months and months and months? You know, it's insane. There's nothing up there, Smoke. There's nothing. You're seeing things again. Stop looking. Come on. So I don't know. Here's the thing. Here's a nice little thing here to think about. Okay, J.D. Vance, he graduated from Yale Law School, okay? He graduated from there. And Hegseth graduated from Harvard. Now, these are two people who come from elite universities. And what are they doing? Do they seem like competent individuals? I mean, these universities have something to explain I think they owe us a great deal of explanation here as to how do these two clowns get through your illustrious schools and graduate and then come out and do these things, and you guys are really quiet. I mean, come on. That makes your schools look like shit when you got people who graduated from your colleges, you know, that are out there wreaking havoc across the fucking nation and the world on top of that, okay? This is not, you know, hey, something to be proud of here. Oh, I graduated from Harvard. Really? The next time somebody tells you that and they try to brag, just remind them of who you know graduated from these schools and what they're doing, okay? They ain't smart. These people are not smart. They're cruel, they're vicious, they're ignorant, okay? And they got agendas that don't include the rest of the country. They're not working for the country. They're working for themselves, okay? And when you replace a 4-star general with a guy like Hegseth, a failed TV host, no less, okay, you're not going to get, you know, you're not going to get talent, you're not going to get experience, you're just going to get shit, okay? And you see, the reason that 4-star general had to be replaced is because that general wasn't dumb enough to put his loyalty on the line to Trump instead of the Constitution, okay? And so that's the reason why we ended up where we are now. You know, and it's a job that you're supposed to defend the Constitution. It does not mean you're supposed to defend the president, okay? But that's what Trump wants. He wants people to be loyal only to him, and the Constitution can go take a flying fuck, okay? That's what he thinks. And I gotta say, you know, as you know, as an observer of Trump's behavior and stuff, I really need to reiterate this point here, and a lot of people really ought to just start looking at Trump in a different light here. That I think, and they brought it up in the video, I mean, he's almost 79 years old, okay? Mentally, I don't think he's with it. I really don't. I think he's losing it. There were signs of it during the campaign, but now I think it's pretty apparent, okay? This is a guy who started a goddamn trade war with a country that he thought for some reason he was going to win. Okay? And I'm talking about China, of course. But, you know, today he blinked. Today he blinked. He's backing down from his own trade war he started with China, okay? Not very competent. And I feel like this is really a sign here that, you know, if a guy that's that incompetent selects people to work for him, hey, don't be surprised if those people are not the best and they get in trouble, okay? They're being hired by a dingbat, and so you're going to get dingbat results. You know, that's the way it goes with Trump and his administration. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Trump promised you a golden age. He promised prosperity, lower prices and higher paychecks, an end to inflation. Instead, he blew it. Trump's recession, inevitable. Trump's dumb tariffs, you pay them. Seen Trump's stock market lately? It's crashing. Say goodbye to your retirement, and when it goes, don't expect Social Security or Medicare. His tax plan? Yours goes up, Elon pays nothing. You trusted him, believed in the myth.
That we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. This will truly be the golden age of America.
Rich, golden age.
Identity theft, cyber fraud, financial scams. Who has access to your personal information should be your decision, not up to Elon Musk. That's your data, your social security account, your tax return, your student loans, your VA health records.
But Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agencies. He's created these algorithms that are constantly crawling through the data. And
how creepy is that?
Constantly crawling through the data.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Elon Musk has a long history of drug abuse.
Do people get upset at you if you do certain things?
LSD, cocaine, ecstasy, mushrooms, and ketamine. Is this somebody you trust? This guy? Elon Musk is dangerous to you, your family, your country, your data, your life. Just say no to Elon Musk.
Hello, Daniel Caldwell. This is the VA Crisis Response Hotline. We're calling to inform you that your emergency request for in-person counseling for PTSD has been denied. To stop fraud, waste, and abuse, these services will be replaced by VetCare AI, powered by Grok, an X company. President Trump and Doge Chairman Musk, thank you for your service and being part of our efforts to eliminate waste. Have a nice day. Press 1 to repeat this message. Press 2 to return to main menu. Press 3 to leave a message, and an AI operator will call you back if your problem is deemed unwasteful. Goodbye.
Never mix salt with these 2 ingredients if you don't want your hose to be rock hard tonight. Every time you see an older man with a young woman, you can bet he's using the salt trick. In fact, I've been left unable to walk for more than 4 days because of it. This talk about women only wanting money is just an excuse from guys who can't perform in bed. What women really care about is whether a man can heat things up in the bedroom and keep everything working. Having worked in the adult industry for many years, I discovered this after watching a video by Emily, a friend and former adult film star. In the video, Emily reveals that every man has a little hidden button on his body. When activated, it can make even 80-year-old men stand tall and be ready to handle any young woman for 2 straight hours. Dr. Jack Jordan scientifically proved this, and the method works so well that it makes your body stay rock solid whenever you want. All you need is the salt recipe in the morning with a bit of warm water. It takes less than 15 seconds. Fun fact, this recipe was banned for over 40 years because it threatened the sales of the famous little blue pill in pharmacies. After the video about salt featuring the ex-actress went viral, I can now share it here. Just click the link in the description or the pinned comment to access everything you need to make this recipe. Watch the video alone because it includes some very steamy practical demonstrations. Jack shows exactly how to do it and the results it delivers instantly. Everything you can imagine happens right in front of the cameras with nothing censored. So grab your headphones, click the link below, and get ready for content so hot it might even make you want to join in yourself.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Alright everybody, welcome back. Alright, this second video I have from iHitGirls, they're going to talk about Musk, who now Tesla is heading for bankruptcy. And I don't know what that means for Musk, but apparently now he's going to be, hey, what are you digging there? So, his company's heading for bankruptcy, and now, you know, things are not good for him, as I think a lot of us predicted. Okay, everybody who associates with Donald Trump in any fucking manner, they always end up either in prison or bankrupt, or both. Let's go to that video here.
Thought that when you elect a convicted felon who has ruined every business he's ever started, bankrupted casinos, anybody that's ever worked for him in the past has also ended up bankrupt. I'm talking about Mike Lindell, MyPillow, Rudy Giuliani, begging judges, you know, for pennies. Well, guess what's happened now? Elon Musk has completely tanked his brand. It is a self-inflicted faceplant. Put up this from the Lincoln Project. A devastating Tesla earnings report today. Net income fell 71%. Total revenue slid 9% from $21.3 billion a year earlier. Tesla stock down 41% so far in 2025, suffered their worst quarterly drop since 2022. And what we're finding out is all of MAGA is like, go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke. Well, Target tried to do that. They were woke. Their base was a group of urban people, urban voters and suburban voters. They dismantle DEI, throw their pride support down the river. Guess where they are? Economically in the shitter. Elon Musk, Sig Heil's running around with a fascist, Tesla in the shitter.
Well, everything Trump touches is destroyed. But Elon Musk, being a Nazi and doing Sig Heil's and screwing with people's lives haphazardly, stealing private data, it turns out people don't like that. They don't like it in the United States, and they do not like it abroad. And so he's crying around, poor Elon, the left's being so mean to me. The reason people are boycotting your brand is because of your behavior and your behavior alone, and loyalty to Donald Trump to the tune of $300 million. So look in the mirror if you want to blame somebody.
And think about this. When you think about like voting blocks, when you look at an electoral map, you see that urban areas, deeply blue, that's where the economic hubs are, right? And so it makes sense that if you start turning against that base where most of the dollars are spent in these big blue cities, even our city, which is purple, 45%, 45%, that it's really off-putting to a lot of consumers when you don't stand up for democracy. And this is just such short-sighted economic reactionary policy. We are big dicks and we're going to get them out and swing them, and they never play the tape through that the government's job is to provide economic security. But MAGA has floated this myth that we're going to run government like a business. And if you elect Donald Trump, every business he's had, he's run into the ground.
It's failed.
Right? Okay, so here we have Trump, who is the weakest American president we've ever had. It's not even open for debate. He picks a fight with China. China's like, F you, you're eyeliner wearing vice president called us peasants. We're going to troll the F out of him. And we have been a civilization for 5,000 years. You're only 12% of our economy. We're not going to blink. We're not going to do jack shit. So now Trump is blinking with China and trying to make his way back over. Play the clip.
145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to that. We were talking about fentanyl, where, various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen. But they're going to do very well, and I think they're going to be happy, and I think we're going to live together very happily. And
okay, that's enough. And you guys know we put the chipmunk voice on him so that it's tolerable. But again, China, Europe, all of these other nations see the United States as unstable and insecure economically because we have a malignant narcissist surrounded by bottom feeder grandstanders at the White House. Nobody wants to do business with us. Nobody.
And can you blame them? It's tariffs now, tariffs not now. Here's the thing. Donald Trump is a bully. And he thought he could go in and bully these countries. And these countries are like, fuck you. We'll go to Europe. We'll go to South Korea. We'll make our own free trade deals. We don't need you. And so in true Trump fashion, and I don't want to remind everyone, in the Trump University lawsuit, they were going to settle for $4 million. Donald Trump said, no, I'm going to negotiate it myself. He settled for $25 million. The art of the deal is he is a dipshit, and he always caves because he's a bully, and that is exactly what's happening. So she take a victory lap.
And there is some really foundational things that he has broken. There is a global movement right now to boycott American products. I read an article where people were talking about how do we get off of American technology and these are Europeans, and what is available to us via China. And that's how toxic this man has made this American brand, which brings me to Republicans who are all about fiscal conservatism and we're all about the economy. And then all of these oligarchs are all engaged in this short-sighted plan to placate to the ego of an almost 79-year-old man that wakes up every morning and puts on orange makeup while his administration says they're against artificial colors. Right. You know what I mean? So, this is just insanity. Okay, next up we have Trump. Now, you may remember he is obsessed with Jerome Powell. He always has to blame somebody else for his screw-ups. And he talks about firing Jerome Powell twice. Dow drops like 1,000 points or something each time. Now he's backpedaling on this because the man has no spine. Play the clip.
I don't want to talk about that because I have no intention of firing him.
Fundamentally, remember, Trump does not have the authority to fire him. It would be against the law. Not that we think Trump gives a shit about the law, but it's interesting to me that Mr. I'm such a great businessman has done nothing but tank the U.S. economy. And the only person that's even respected right now on the government side, because Bessett's a dipshit, Lutnick's a dipshit, is Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell is standing firm and being very pointed about what the future is. Well, Trump doesn't think about the future because he doesn't either care No, or he is doing it on purpose.
And Jerome Powell is playing the long game, which is what you want government to do. But you brought up Scott Bessent. And Scott Bessent is just a special case of like a demon queen. You know, he is an out of the closet gay man who has ascended to this position, who has no issue with Trump putting on Truth Social the pink triangle, which was what the Nazis used to identify homosexuals when they sent them to get exterminated in concentration camps. He doesn't say a peep about that, right? And so you have him. This is what they had to do. So you've got that Navarro who's all about the anti-China tariffs and all this shit, right? They had to wait till Navarro was in a meeting. And Bessent has to go in and get Trump's ear when Navarro's not around to get him to put the pause on the tariffs, the 90-day pause, because everybody in the administration doesn't have a singular unifying economic plan. And the more I watch of Scott Bessent, the more I think, if somebody earns $1 billion at some point, does the American public just say, oh my God, they're smart, put them in charge of shit? This video that I'm about to show you is from his Twitter account. The Secretary of the Treasury tweeted this video of himself, and you just tell me what you think about it. Play it.
America has been very good to me and my family, and I want to spread the word that through financial literacy, you can accumulate both financial security, peace of mind, and move toward your financial goals.
Scott, how are you going to do that? What's your plan to do that? I mean, this guy, that's like first grade economics.
I mean, it's just like, I'm like, that's like his message to the American people right now. It's just, number one, I don't think he's that great of a speaker. And we're living in this short-clipped political news cycle where you need to have experts that advocate for everybody, not just for the few. And MAGA constantly is acting like they're advocating for everybody by playing in throwing red meat to get the base riled up. But really, it's just for the few of them. I mean, Trump in the Oval was like, this guy made $2 billion today, and this guy made $500 million today, which immediately somebody should have been arrested for all of that.
Corruption.
But of course, that didn't happen. But this, you guys, this sums up Trump-onomics. This sums it up perfectly. Put up the first slide. The IMF predicts the economy hardest hit by Trump's tariffs will be, drum roll please, the United States of America. This is a unforced error. This is Donald Trump and a bunch of dipshits that have dismantled expertise that are using tackling and attacking the American economy, which people were feeling pretty secure about, to dismantle it so that this guy, who's almost 79 years old and freebases Diet Coke, had a button in the office so he can have them brought to him all the time, and eats McDonald's all the time and won't release his real medical records and lies about his weight. The amount of people in this country that are this short-sighted is such a fundamental moral flaw in a percentage of the electorate. All right, that's all we have for today. Some uplifting stuff in the United States of America. Please subscribe, and we'll see you all later.
People didn't like the things that Musk did, okay? They didn't. Nobody did. I didn't. Nobody. You didn't. I didn't. Nobody did, okay? And MAGA won't admit it, but they didn't like him that much either, okay? Just like they don't like J.D. Vance, okay? But for Tesla to be hurting now financially the way they are doesn't surprise anybody who's been paying attention at all about what's happening, with Musk and Doge and all this stuff. He's destroyed his brand. By getting involved with Trump and doing the things that he's been doing, he ruined his name and the name of the company. So, hey, this is what happens when you're in a business, all right? Trump needs to take lessons here from that, and I'll tell you why. With Trump, he's already tarnished the American name, okay? He's tarnished it a lot. It's worse now than ever before. And when you do that, and he wants to run America like a business, guess what's happening? Nobody wants to do business with the United States because, like Musk, Trump's image has been tainted by all the shit that he did. Okay, all the crimes he committed, all the crap that he's been doing, the tariff wars he's been doing, he's ruined America's good name. Now nobody wants to look at us, nobody wants to deal with us. Even our enemy nations are willing to work with countries that we were allied with, okay? All right, just to go around the United States, because they're going to take advantage of America at its weakest. So here we are, thanks to Trump. And this is what's happened with Musk. So Musk on a smaller scale with his one company, and Trump on a bigger scale with the United States as his company, they both failed. You see what I'm saying? They both failed. They failed in their, I mean, of course, and with Trump with 6 bankruptcies, for the love of Christ. What did anyone expect from him but that? But Musk, okay, when it came out that he was a Nazi and all this crap and getting involved in cutting people's fucking life savings and Social Security, all that stuff, okay? Hey, people just hated his guts, and they still do, and they don't give a fuck about his stupid company. They don't care about his damn cars, okay? They just want him out. They want him out of the United States. They want him back in Africa where he belongs, okay? That's where he needs to be. And so what I see here is 2 people who ended up doing the same thing. Okay, they both ruined their names and ruined the businesses, or whatever you want to call it, that they are involved in. Okay, one a business, the other the country, the government. 2 peas in a pod. Okay, equally incompetent. And I hope this proves to the people in MAGA that you cannot run a country like a business. You can't. It doesn't work. Trump tried to do it and he failed. We knew he'd fail, but he had to learn that for himself, okay? He had to learn that, just like MAGA has to find this out the hard way. That what they were, the belief that they had, this myth, as they say, that America can be run as a business is a mistake. And, you know, why they even came around with that, I don't know. Like MAGA has any interest in the world of business or anything. None of these people even understand the first thing about starting a small business, let alone how to run a big one. So these people running around shooting their mouth off that, we got to run America like a business and it'll work. They don't know nothing, okay? And the fact is, they're being proven wrong every fucking day since Trump took office. All right, here's the man you thought was a great businessman. He can't even run the country. He started a tariff war, and now he's backing down from his own war again. Okay, now he knows that China's got all the cards. He never had any cards to bully China. And that was the funny part of the whole thing, is there was this little ant and this big elephant, like, boom. You know, Trump was nothing but a fucking ant going after China. Okay? Less than 10% of our fucking money is part of China's economy. They don't give a fuck about the United States, whether we're here or not. Okay? They're going to survive just fine. Trump can levy all the taxes he wants to put on that. Don't matter a hill of fucking beans. It's not going to hurt China. China's doing good. China's thriving. Okay? They have passed the United States. You know, they really have. They got things over there that we don't have in this country. They can do things over there that we can't do in this country. They're now the nation on the hill. They're the ones at the top now. Okay, and I hope that pisses people off, because this is where Trump brought us. We are now one of the banana republics in the world. And China now is the golden city on the hill. Okay, you can bitch about what I just said all you want, but the fact is, okay, the United States is still sliding down, down, down into the gutter. Okay, where it was destined to go because we put a nut in the fucking White House. Things were better when Biden was there, but people seem to think that, it wasn't happening quick enough. You know, like it's such an easy task to run a country. And the fact that it's such a hard job to do, and he was doing well at it, at a man that was 80-something years old, way better than Trump, says you guys fucked up. You fucking voters out there fucked up. You should have left well enough alone. But no. So, like I said, you got a guy here who started something that he couldn't finish. And now he's eating everybody's crow. and the thing he's trying to save face by, the tariffs will come down substantially, but it won't be zero. I mean, to say, I'm still going to get the last word in there, like even 1% would be a thing that's going to bother you. Forget it, Trump. You lost. Just say you lost, okay? What the hell was actually accomplished in the short time that, he was doing this crap, okay? This tariff pissing contest, all it did was result in higher prices. For us, didn't hurt China. Because they weren't buying anything from us anyway. It's like in that video, that TikTok video, the guy was saying, how much of our stuff do you have and how much do we have of yours? That's your trade deficit right there. America doesn't make anything to sell. We're the buyers. We're the customers to the rest of the world. We're buying all the fucking time because we don't make anything. And to think that, and then they bitch about a trade deficit. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you've got a country that doesn't manufacture anything anymore? You can't run a nation on gun sales. Jesus. And I feel like, when he was there at that press conference where they was asking him about this and stuff, and he was saying it was just performance, really. Damage control, I think, would be a better word. And, he fucked up the economy and alienated our international partners. And then he turns around and says we won. Really? That right there is a symptom of his mental handicap, I think, is the fact that he's spinning this around. He does it so easily that I think that it's just like he's a walking version of 1984 where he can just rewrite history in his own mind, and what was real is now down the memory hole. So he can just fucking believe what the hell he wants, and it becomes truth to him. Fucking bitch. And what the missing thing here is Vance ought to be out saying, well, did China say thank you? I think that would be funny if if Vance come out and said that, and the fact that everybody's sitting here saying, it was the art of the deal. It was the art of the deal that won it for him. Really? What art was there when he folded? It was more of the art of the kneel. He kneeled before China. He kissed China's ring. China won. Okay? What can I say? We're looking at all the lessons that MAGA needed to learn here about Trump. It's all hitting them all at once. And I think it's like these people are walking around in a constant state of overload, because they're not given a chance to digest each of these things that Trump has failed at doing since he became president. They ain't got enough chance to be able to cogitate on it and try to extrapolate a lesson, because every day it's something new that Trump's doing that proves the point Democrats made. It's like every fucking day. Everything Trump has done up to this point was already predicted, was already talked about by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They all were saying what was going to happen if he won and where Trump was aiming to take the country. Okay? All this time, MAGA was saying they're lying. No, now it's all been thrown back in their face. They're walking around with egg on their face. Very expensive eggs, by the way. But they're all walking around with egg on their face, and they just don't know what to do. They cannot defend anything that Trump's done. I mean, even the comments on some of the things that I post and stuff had diminished. Okay, I don't see the same resolve from MAGA anymore to defend this man. So I know it's impacted them in ways that they won't admit. Okay, and I don't care if they admit to me that they've learned a lesson or something. I don't care. All right, I just don't care. What I do care is that these people actually take steps along with Democrats to put an end to this fucking administration, to get rid of it, and to sweep this fucking thing under the rug so we can live our lives the way we should be living them, the way we could be living them if we didn't go down this avenue here, this detour into Trump territory. If we didn't take this route, okay, America would be doing better today than it was with Trump, okay? And I feel like this is a lesson. I think, you know, Americans, even Democrats too. I mean, even if they didn't vote for Trump, they still should see what happens when you make wrong choices, because it only reinforces my belief that elections have consequences and they should be taken seriously. They are not sporting events, okay? These are not shows like beauty pageants or anything like that. These things are serious because it deals with our lives. Okay, your life, my friend's life, my neighbor's life, my family's life. Okay, when you make choices on a scale like that, okay, you got to put on your thinking cap and you got to take off your partisanship and all that, and you got to look at the bigger picture here, not just about your personal little qualms. Okay, you got to expand your view of things to say, you know, I got to help, you know, do things. This is a big thing. We got to help. We need to stop going after people. We need to stop the racism and stuff. And we need to focus on what's essential here. And that's people's money. They need to have an income that they can survive in this country with. Poor people need to have some help with their health care costs. And, you know, the handicapped need to have some kind of a help with their, you know, their needs, like Social Security needs for the elderly. We have to think of the bigger scope. It's not just about voting for just one issue for one person. It's about voting for an issue that encompasses us all. Okay? Banning abortions is not a political issue, okay? I don't care what anybody says about that. That's a personal issue. You don't have no right to make laws like that against women doing anything like that. Deporting citizens without due process, again, that's not what the government's in business for. Okay, we have a process here in this country, a judicial process to deal with that matter, and that should be their purview, not the president's. Okay, so again, that's something else. And you name it. Okay, there's all kinds of things, especially when it comes to the environment. I think that's not really a political issue. That's a global issue that transcends politics. This is something that if you give a shit about breathing clean air, then it's, hey, it should be an easy choice, you know. But no, instead over here we make it a political issue, and so our country is like a flim-flam artist for the rest of the world. We go 5 years doing something for the planet, and then the next 8 years we don't. Okay, so we're not taking it serious. The rest of the world doesn't see us as taking the idea or the problem of global warming serious. You know, and yet we're the ones trying to tell the rest of the world, you need to do stuff too, you know, and we're the ones that's falling by the wayside. Okay, they're doing their part, we're not. And you know, our image is tainted because we've got a lousy president, lousy administration, and so now we got a lot of recovery to do in just these last 100 days, I guess, almost 100 days. And just that time, we're looking at years of repair in what Trump's done. I mean, come on, people. Do we really want this guy to stay in office, you know, for another year after this? Or are we just gonna say enough is enough and let's impeach the son of a bitch next year? Okay. By the time this year is over, I don't know what's gonna be left of the United States. I really don't. I don't know what's gonna happen to you if you're here illegally. I don't know what's gonna happen to anybody that's in this country that's, you know, working, okay? And even if you are here legally and you look like an immigrant, I can't promise you're not going to get deported, okay? Because that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. I don't see stability, and I don't have any reason to give you trust. Trust the government. I can't say that. And nobody in politics today in our government can say trust us. I can't. I'm sorry. We cannot trust the government. All right? The things that the government is doing under Trump is abhorrent. I mean, it's sad and it's scary and it's really nasty. And I hear this from all people that I associate with around me, that they're not happy at all with where we are as a country. Okay, and it really weighs on them. You could tell when they talk about it, they are really frustrated and angry and scared. All right, they just don't understand how America could do what it did. But I think, you know, at this point, that boat sailed. I don't think we're ever really going to understand that until we get rid of what is. Because the people that put us in this position will never admit it. They'll never discuss it. Okay, it's a shame they're going to bear privately. And the rest of us, well, you know, if we can't get the answers out of them as to why they felt that Trump was their guy, what are we supposed to do except, you know, the next time some asshole from the business world goes running for president and promises a pie in the sky, ignore that son of a bitch. That's a warning sign right there. Never believe anybody that says he's going to make you wealthy. Okay? A rich person doesn't make people wealthy. They don't. It's all about making themselves wealthy. Even though they got more money than they could spend in 50 lifetimes, hey, it's all about grabbing all there is, okay? And if they ain't sharing with you, they're fucking you over other ways too. So, I mean, I mean, this guy, he bullied the world, thinking that he could intimidate the rest of the world because, oh, we're the United States. Well, it's not about we have military might. It's about we have leadership that's formidable, not might. Not weapons, but it's our leaders that garner the respect for this country. Okay? Any tin pot nation in this planet could be armed to the teeth. But if you got a jackass for a leader in that country, no one's going to care about you. Okay? Nobody's going to care about you. So, you know, Trump really had a lot of misconceptions about what this government is about and what it can do. Okay, I'm not sure where he learned that stuff from, okay, because, you know, I don't know if there's anybody else in his family that ever got into politics, but he certainly didn't learn anything about politics, okay, that, you know, respect comes from the kind of people you elect into power, and the United States right now has lost all that fucking respect, 80 years worth of it, okay, we've lost it. On the belief that, oh, we're being fucked by other countries. Really? If we can't make anything and sell anything, then how are we getting fucked by other countries? Okay? The trade deficit is our fault because we couldn't sell anything to any country. But hey, you can't blame Americans for buying stuff in other countries when it's cheaper. You know? We were doing only what we were supposed to do. But if you're not going to give us an alternative, we're not going to buy. And even Trump, his store, I don't know if I played that video. You go to his store in New York, more than half the stuff in his store is made in China. And he's all about America for Americans. You know, it's just, you know, sorry, but that's not what's happening, and even he knows it. Okay, so like I said, this is really, you know, with Tesla, you know, going down in flames, like the Enterprise in Star Trek 3, and Trump caving to China today. You got two people who are going through the same shit. One in the business world, the other one in the political world, going through the same shit right now. Jesus Christ, people, wake up and learn something from this, for Christ's sake. You know, these lessons are being handed to us on a silver platter here. Do not slap that away. Okay, learn from these things. Okay, and carry those things with you, especially you young people out there that voted for the first time in the last election. If you voted for Trump, I'm hoping you're paying attention and you're following what's happening, okay? Understand, Okay, don't go by the charisma of an individual and the things they say. Go by their intelligence and the value of their ideas. Okay, and look at their history. That has to count for a lot too. The history was a big enough warning sign for anybody to run away from this guy. You should have done the same. All right, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So subscribe, comment, and share, and keep your ears open for health-related issues, and be neighborly to your community, and be helpful, and be kind. I'll talk to everybody later, so take care. Bye-bye.